Today's topic is land use in urban areas. Now, as you know, there is lot of conversion of rural area into urban area because of increase in the population. This phenomenon has become very much common. The developing, underdeveloped areas are getting converted into developed areas. Now, why this is becoming? This is becoming because of a better lifestyle, better medical facilities. Everyone wants all the amenities very close to them. Because of this, urbanization is increasing day by day. Now, urban land use reflects the location as well as the activities, the management or the manufacturing of the residences are also very much good, along with the transport system as well as the communication also. Now, what are the things or what are the types which comes under this land use, which is urban land use in urban areas? The types are like transport, residential, commercial, that we'll study in more detail. Land use in urban areas. Now you can see in the picture how the urban area is looking. It is totally accommodated with so many dwellings. Over the past half century, cities have increasingly been developed through deliberate planning by governments of countries at all income levels. These new settlements are often called as planned cities or new towns. They are defined by being largely planned in advance rather than being additions to existing towns or so because of planned cities, planned towns, and because of planning of government, there is lot of urbanization nowadays running in all over the world, across all over the world. As existing cities became too big, governments created new cities for people to move to. So which were the cities since ancient period? These cities were getting very much populated and the accommodation was very much less. So government started planning and started creating the new cities so that lot of people can accommodate or move surrounding the city area. They do this by denying planning permissions on the edges of the bigger cities while granting it in the new town areas and by paying for the basic infrastructure in new places like building highways, electricity, water services, schools and hospitals. So if there is lot of population, they deny the planning permission, and if there is less population in some cities they grant the permission also. So in both the ways they plan out the planned structure of the particular accommodation in a city. Land use in urban areas are of following types. First is recreational. Now what is recreational? Means making parks, making water parks, museums. So these type of things comes under recreational. So these are not the essential. These are not very much important. So they are just for the entertainment. They are just for the fun purposes. Second is transportation. Now you know transportation is very much important. What are the three ways of transportation? First is roadways, second is waterways, third is airways. So all these types of transportations are also coming under urban areas. Next is agricultural, farmland, residential means the accommodation which is used for housing purposes so that a human can settle at one place. Commercial means where the type of area which is used for the business purpose, for the factory purpose, for the commercial purpose comes under commercial land use. Now we'll study the types of land use in urban areas one by one. So first is residential area. Now what is residential area? Any type of land or a piece of land which is used by a man for his dwelling, for his settlement is called as residential area. He builds up land cover and carries out constructions. So wherever he is going to settle at that particular place, first thing what he does is constructing a house. Residential land use, for example, can involve single family dwelling on large or small lots or aggregation of multiple unit dwelling on various sorts. So, in the residential use, there can be a single family's house, or there can be a scheme, a flat system where in a single building various families can also dwell at a time. The most intensive residential land use are associated with clusters of apartment buildings which can support extremely large density of human populations. So wherever there are some residential type of apartments where large amount of population or large amount of people stay in a particular area, it is also called as the large density of human populated area. The purpose of residential land is to build homes. So what is the purpose of residential land? Is to construct the houses. This could mean mobile homes, single family homes, and even apartment complexes. So it can be of any type. Depending on the local area, the status of the market, and the type of residences you plan on building, you will need to consider other things like accessibility, the proximity of local amenities, the local schools, and crime rates. So basically, wherever there is good access of other amenities like local amenities like schools, like medical facilities, like your job locations, the crime rate of that particular area, all these things are playing a major role in the residential area. Next is industrial areas. The land where many or any of the manufacturing activity exist, land cover where people work for their livelihood. So any type of manufacturing unit which converts a raw material into a finished good is called as industries. So almost the industries are located at the far away areas where, or a remote area where the residential areas are not present. Why? Because the industries, they emit lot of powerful gases which are not good for the human being. So it is basically accommodated at such areas where the population or the density of the population is less. Industrial land use are extremely varied depending on the nature of industry being considered. Urban industrial land use generally refers to the sitting of factories or petroleum refineries and of utilities such as electricity generating stations and water and sewage treatment facilities. So all these industries are basically created on such place where the raw materials are present. Now petroleum refineries, they are basically placed where the mining or the petroleum is being obtained. Electrical generating stations are basically seen near the water resources like dams. Industrial land use means land used for commercial establishment, manufacturing plants, public utilities, mining, distribution of goods and services, administration of business activities, research and development facilities, warehousing, shipping, transporting, remanufacturing, stockpiling of raw materials, storage, repair and maintenance of commercial machineries or equipments, and wastage management. So all these types of commercial businesses comes under industrial land use. Next is institutional areas. Now, the land which is used for the schools, for the hospitals, for the worship, for the police, fire, government offices, they come under the institutional areas. In the image, you can see the institutional land uses. The space over which the educational centers, universities, insurance offices, cantonments, and similar to these activities exist are used for the activities associated with all these land uses. So, any type of large educational institute or universities or hospitals or the place of worship, cantonments, anything that comes under the institutional areas. Institutional land use are mostly associated with land that is occupied by the public buildings such as schools, universities, government offices, art galleries and museums. So all these things also comes under institutional land uses. These facilities are most commonly located in urban or suburban areas. So this type of things are basically seen in the urban areas and they are rarely seen in the rural areas. Now the next land use is transportation. Now transportation means what? It is a mean of communication. It can be in the form of airways, it can be in the form of roadways, also it can be in the form of waterways. So it includes airports, it includes railway stations, it includes roads, it includes railways and harbors. The space or the land cover which is used for the movement purpose of a man or by the man is called as transportation. Now it has a big relation with the land use. Why? Because it increases the accessibility. You get an access to long areas which are situated nearby or far away from there. Increased land availability, increased land value. Wherever the transportation accessibility is more, definitely the progress of that area is good, and because of that the land value of that area also increases. Land use change, land is developed, so definitely at those places the traffic is more, the land is more developed, the public is more improved. So all these things are very much related to the transportation system of that particular area. Hence, with the help of transportation, the life is very much better as compared to the rural settlements. Why? Because of transportation, the accessibility has increased, and hence, which is very much essential for the development of that particular area. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe my channel.